And welcome back to another episode of Underdog Podcast. You know, I've been thinking, like I'm always thinking, right? It's interesting, protesting. Like, I, is protesting a rational uh, action or an emotional action? It's definitely a reaction because when you protest, you're reacting to something that you find grievous. And protesting also is usually based on some form of ideology, group identity, or something that the group decides. But it also comes from a egotistical standpoint because first you think of how you feel affected, and then you find other people that feel just like you, and then you get a bunch of people together, and then you go off and you grab your signs and stuff, and you the goal of protesting, and this is just my opinion. I haven't done too much research on it or looked into the psychology of protesting and things of that nature, but just on the different things I already know throughout history and stuff, and my own personal take. Because I always wanted to protest. I always wanted to be a revolutionary when I was a kid, and now that I'm older, and maybe some of it has to do with me following Buddhist principles, but I just feel like it's not for me necessarily. I find my own ways to I guess inspire or try to reach out to others or share my message or my particular viewpoint. But to me, protesting is something that you do to bring about awareness, and that's always a good issue. That's always a good thing for everybody to do. Because I don't want to knock one group of protesting people because just because I don't agree with it, you still have a right to. And I'm not talking about no fucking constitutional right. I'm talking about just flat out you as a human being, a species, or fucking a person in general, or whatever, has the right to protest and say things, right? So if you're a neo-Nazi member and you want to protest for white supremacy and stuff, that's your prerogative. Hey, do you? Now, is it best for society? Is it inclusive? Does it really help out everyone? No. So it's counterintuitive because it only helps out certain people or a select group of people. So when you protest, you kind of want what your message is being about to also to uplift people, but at the same time not exclude anyone. And I don't know. I just felt like this is something I've been thinking about. And then for me, protesting is just one stage of how to inspire or incite or to bring about change. Because protesting brings up awareness. Then from awareness, then you need to change. Then you need to go into the matter of changing certain laws and institutional infrastructures. You need to go into that nature or whatever, which means you need to get the court, the justice system, things that involved, and then because like for me, it's like it's interesting to see a company, support a protest or a movement, but it's like a corporation has no identity, only in legal terms. So really, do I care what you believe in necessarily or how you want to go about things? I just need you for a service, and that's it. And only thing I ask is that you don't discriminate towards me, and when it provides a service. And as far as I know, majority of media conglomerate, corporations, Amazon, Walmart, they don't give a fuck about anything other than your money. So it just makes me laugh when I see some of these corporations and stuff, whatever. But I mean that goes into the whole manipulation through control, the powers that be, of people in a position of powers that are finding different ways to make sure that they maintain their position of power and maintain their control by using group identity and manipulating those different ideologies within the group identity. So it's just something that I kind of wanted to touch on. I just had to get that thought out for myself, because basically it's just all these conversations in my head. It's funny. Anytime I ever speak, I'm always going through. Before I even speak, I've always had like at least a dozen or so conversations to myself in my own head before I even speak. So I balance the emotional reaction, I balance the rational reaction, and I'll have all these different counter arguments in my head before I speak about something. And depending on what it is, it might take longer, it might take less time, but I think about me doing the podcast stuff, and I really enjoy just being able to get these thoughts out of my head, and it's very therapeutic for me. So it's something I want to keep continuing to do, and not necessarily worry about growth or marketing or anything like that. I guess that's just my social disclaimer that I want to continue to say every now and then, just to keep myself grounded and level headed and remember what I'm doing it for. Because you can get lost. You can get lost in movements. You can have something be genuine and then have it be hijacked. I don't necessarily support Black Lives Matter. I don't necessarily agree with everything, but at the same time, it is a little annoying to see them selling me products through my video game. I play NBA 2K, and then here it is, all these different Black Lives Matter products, and I question things when they get a little too big, and money is involved. Because once money is involved, I mean, money is the root of all evil. Money brings out the worst of us. Let's be honest. Money makes you have inequality, because someone wants more, and so someone has to have less. Human beings are just interesting in particular. Lately, I've been watching things about slavery, and not slavery what you think of. I'm talking about slavery now, what you call human trafficking. Human trafficking is slavery. When we're talking about back in the early 90s, Nike got in trouble, or Nike had a big branding or marketing issue, because it was found out they were using sweatshops and not necessarily forced labor, but some child labor laws were being thrown around, that particular nature. And it makes you wonder, all the shoes that we wear and stuff, look at your tags and your shoes that you wear and the clothes that you wear. It's being developed in Indonesia, in Southeast Asia, Vietnam. Like, who do you think is making them? You think these people getting well paid? Don't fucking think so. Are they're getting something, but will that shit fly in America? Fuck no. That's why they send it somewhere else. So, are you part of the problem, or do you provide a solution? Or are you just a hypocrite? Because, it goes back to hypocrisy. I talk about these things, but damn, I'll still wear a pair of Nikes. But every now and then, I do feel fucking bad about it. But I don't know. I always wanted to be a activist. And I was thinking earlier, like, okay, how do you go about being an activist? And I remember a couple of days ago, I was researching, trying to figure out how to do things on the internet. I'm kind of digressing from what I want to talk about in slavery, but I just want to get this point out real quick. But as far as like an activist, I saw that an activist can make money, and it's like, huh? It never occurred to me that activists can make money, but as I was reading a couple articles on the internet, it was talking about how if you do public speaking and things like that, yeah, you can charge people of that nature. But that's a thin line to me too, because it seems like once your certain needs are met, then you can pay attention to other issues in the world, if that makes any sense. I remember watching a YouTube video that kind of explained it well. It's like that's why you see a lot of celebrities get involved in certain charities and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know if they actually are genuine about it, but it's normally when once your survival needs and things are met, then you start to think about other things. So I always want to be an activist, and I'm like, oh, okay, man, what can I do? How can I help and stuff there? But it's like, yeah, calm the fuck down. What can you do? How can you help? All you can do is change yourself. I'm doing it now. This podcast, activism, trying to trying to raise conscious awareness, trying to shed light on different things, offering my different point of view, offering my opinion. You may agree, you may disagree, but hey, if anything, you're fucking thinking about it. You may listen, you may not listen. But everybody can do their part in their own unique, particular way. I mean, that's all it's really about, man. But going back to slavery, it's crazy that we still have, I think, 40 million people in the world that is involved in slavery around the world. I had a website on my phone pulled up for slavery statistics, but I guess I got rid of it. Oh man, I don't even remember what the website was called. I had saved it somewhere too. Whatever. If you look up slavery stats and stuff, then you'll find it somewhere through Google search or whatever. But it was saying about estimated 40 million people are enslaved around the world. 40 million. That's still a huge number. Yes, there's 8 billion people, but I mean, that's still a lot of fucking people. And a lot of times what happens is indentured servitude, which is you willingly go into a contract with someone else to pay off a debt or for some reason. And then you have slavery, which is the only difference between that is free will. The obvious choice, or the believed, the perceived choice of free will. Because a lot of times slavery and human trafficking, what happens is you get you being told that hey, there's a job opportunity in this country, say in India or in North Korea or in Russia, because these are places where slavery is still a huge issue, and human trafficking. Say you get offered a job and you work there or whatever, or you get offered a job to go outside the country, work somewhere else, and they say, hey, all you need is to let me hold on to your passport because we need your credentials. But then they hold on to your passport and then they never give your passport back. Bam, now you're in fucking slavery. Now you're in forced manual labor and stuff. Now you're working in the mines digging for diamonds. You got your blood diamonds conflict and stuff. Now you're making shoes and stuff. So it's on the part of these corporations and these government institutions, because a lot of times we have these laws set in place, but if they're not making sure people abide by these laws, then what the fuck is the point? Corruption is rampant. Power corrupts absolutely. So you still have slavery going on in the world. Isn't that fucking mind blowing to know that even in this country of America, that there's still about 100 some thousand people in slavery, and sex trafficking workers, child sex trafficking. Fuck, that's fucked up. My daughter's 11. My son is 9. Imagine them being fucking forced into having some dude fuck them or some shit. Like, that's fucked up. But it's reality. Not necessarily for them and their low-key privilege advantages that they have, but at the same time, something can happen, get scooped up, bam. Next thing you know, they're getting fucked in the ass somewhere in child trafficking and shit. It's wild, man. So you go back to protesting. These things are supposed to. We do these things to bring awareness, but then the next step is, all right, now how do we have a discussion and talk about how to change these things? It's interesting to me too that we allow elected officials or certain groups and stuff to be leaders. The whole leader concept in the human species is I don't understand because at what point do we evolve that we don't no longer need an individual person to be a leader and stuff, and not necessarily that the group mentality wins over, but if we find avenues to be able to have these open debates and determine different issues and try out different things because society is one big experiment. We went out of the tribal, we went out of the hunter and gathering collection and stuff, and we've been in civilization and societies for like a few thousand years, and we really just out here experimenting shit. But at the same time, our experiment is being fucked up because there's people that want to control everything. And you only have to look no further than look at your own household, look at your own family structure, look at where you work at. Everything's always based upon people controlling things. I mean family structure. I'm not necessarily talking about young kids or whatever, obviously. But it's a unique thing, because think about prostitution. We say that we need to legalize make prostitution legal and stuff, whatever. It's funny how we always think that by incorporating laws that it will help, but we see that laws on drugs does not fucking help. The drug war was bullshit. We see that does not fucking help. We see laws trying to stop prostitution does not help. How about we try a different way or whatever? How about we try to, okay, not just decriminalize, that's one step, but maybe we legalize it and just see how we can regulate it better. And because what it comes down to is all we're trying to do is maneuver and restrict and limit people's free will to a certain extent where that they don't impose their own free will on someone else. Because that's all slavery is. Someone saying, hey, you work for me because I want you to work for me. And then you have racism and discrimination and sexism. Those are almost justifications so people can justify being a shitty human being. Like, I was talking to my friend, and I was talking about how, like, slavery is just business. And, they didn't necessarily like that response, but I mean, that's what it comes down to. Slavery is business. I just explained to you, slavery is forced manual labor and stuff. These are all businesses. These are all business practices. Nike, Reebok, any design and fashion, Michael Kors or Louis Vuitton. They ain't making them shits in your fucking neighborhood, are they? No. They're making that shit where people don't even wear that shit. That should already fucking bother you. That the people that are making your clothes, your products, don't even live nowhere near you at all. So you can't even say, hey, thank you for the things you do. It seems like going back to Sumerian, Babylonian, all the great city-states in the Mesopotamia area, going down to Egypt, we just keep following the pattern of human beings being enslaved, whether we call them gods or aliens, whatever, or ourselves. It just is a constant pattern of enslavement. But what comes out of enslavement is just someone being in power or control and wanting more than the next person. It all goes back to stripping away that ego. Because when you strip away that ego, you no longer see yourself as yourself, but you see yourself as everyone else as well. Maybe a little bit more compassion in the world will work out things. Because I might not understand everybody or everyone's point of view, but I have compassion for them. And I'm trying my hardest to continue to have compassion for people. I just seen, Rashad Brooks. I watched a video where he got shot by police and stuff, and anyone dying is not good at all, no matter the circumstances, in my opinion. But self-defense is a fine line, because I try to have compassion for Rashad Brooks, and I think it's messed up But at the same time, I cannot say without a shadow of a doubt that I would not shot him either, because he's fighting, he's struggling, he's shooting a taser at people. Like, he grabbed the taser, he pointed back out and shot. Like, I can't, I cannot sit here and say, oh, this is fucked up, because me personally in that situation, I don't know what I would have done. And like I said, I struggle with being a good person and trying to be nice and having compassion with people. And I have these thoughts, and everybody can say that they have thoughts as well. But there's been times where I have acted on those thoughts of harming people and came close to harming people, whether by physical or weaponry. I have done those things throughout my lifetime. I want to think I'm a little bit better now that I wouldn't do that, but you know, I feel like I am, but yeah, you don't know. But I bring up that situation just because a lot of times that, discussions that we're having about our society, we're just trying to discuss human behavior, human psychology. We're just trying to understand ourselves. It goes back to, we're just a conscious being created by even higher conscious being, that we're all connected, but we're just consciousness repeating itself at a lower and lower level, just trying to understand itself. Because that's all it is. That's all it's about, understanding exactly what we are and what the fuck is going on. That's it. Having a conscious experience that we share with other conscious beings who, in fact, are also all of us at the same time. I remember Kanye West got faced a little criticism because he said, "I am God." But I don't know exactly how he meant it. But when I heard that, I was like, "Oh, that makes me think of like a certain ideologies, philosophies, stuff where, and even in Judaism, Christianism, and Christianity, whatever, where everyone is the son of God, and we are. Because if you are the creation of the Creator, are you not also part of the Creator as well? Maybe I'm using too much rational thought. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I lost you on that one, but it's interesting. All this is interesting because we think we're going to solve these problems, but we're not. These are going to take millenniums to solve, to understand. Because once we get that done, then there's something else to figure out. Then there's something else to figure out. And then it's endless. It's just endless. Because we're all just having this conscious experience, trying to understand consciousness, trying to understand species, trying to understand what the fuck we are and what the fuck is going on. But that's the beauty of it. Because it's a journey. It's a journey that we're all having. And it's a journey that we're all experiencing. To flip it all back around and come back to slavery again is interesting, because what the fuck makes a human being just look at another human being and be like, hey, you're lesser than me? Your ego. The ego. And then that person that's being victimized, that it is in slavery, guess what they're thinking? Fuck that. I'm just as equal as you. Fuck that. I'm actually better than you. Goes back to the dynamics of one side going against the other side and fighting and pushing. But what you really need from all sides is compassion and the willingness to try to understand, not agree, but try to understand and have compassion. That is a huge fucking thing that's missing in, I'm not gonna say majority of people's lives, because that's a statement that I cannot necessarily prove. But I am going to say that people are missing compassion. People are missing compassion. People are missing compassion for themselves and for the people around them. So that's something we all have to work on. That's something I try to work on myself periodically. You have You have different child labor laws in the United States of America, which is interesting enough because you can't drink till you're 21, but you can work at 16, and you can't buy a gun now for some places till you're 21. And see, it's just all this back and forth and all these different things and stuff. But hey, it's an experiment. It's a social experiment. We need to have these different debates. We need to go through these different systems because there is no perfect system. If there was a perfect system, there'd be no point of fucking existing. Think about it. If everything was flat out perfect the way you want it, what would be the fucking point? If I was born into this life with all these, it makes me think of the Buddha, which is the 28th incarceration. Is the 28th incarnation of the Buddha, which the Buddha means the enlightened one. And I was kind of refreshing up on my history and stuff of Buddhism past couple of days. But Sidma Gartha Gutma, I always say his fucking name wrong. Whatever. He lived a life. When he was born, it was going to be decided he was going to be a holy spiritual leader or a great king. His father was a king or a chieftain and wanted him to continue the legacy. So he put his son, Siddhartha, there we go, Siddhartha, and made sure that he had all the luxuries, all the privileges, everything. So he would not ever want or need for anything, and he would never leave the palace. But he did, and then he went out and saw suffering. So it makes you wonder if you were given all the luxuries and all the things and all the spoils and desires of life, would you even be happy with it? Some of you would say, yeah, fuck that. Hell yeah, I want this, this, and that. But if you really think about it, would you be happy with it? I used to question my life, and I used to think about all the different negativity, the bad times stuff, and the good times, and often, too much often, I feel I know, and maybe some others probably feel the same way you know what, I'm gonna speak for myself. I know I focus on the negativity too much, and these past few years, probably about 4 or 5 years, really ever since I've kind of been following the Buddhist principles, I've been letting go of anger and the ego and stuff, and I've been trying to shed most of that negativity and understanding that don't focus on the negativity, don't focus on the negative all the time, don't focus on the positive all the time. Just find a balance. And I tell my kids to appreciate the bad times, appreciate the negative moments, because you can't have those without having positive moments. It's just the duality of our existence in this physical reality. Understand that this is what we are, and understand that you have to find balance. So knowing that there are negative things in the world like slavery, but also knowing that through thousands of years, we have, even though the tactics of slavery have changed, they have had to change because society, the human species, has decided to not put up with these things anymore, and decided that, you know what, this is not necessarily this is not morally correct. There's got to be a better way. This shouldn't be happening. And so in my own lifetime, I think about all the negative things, and I'm like, you know what? If I could have my life be a whole different way, I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it. And it's not because I feel like I came to a certain point and all this. It's just because that's why I have underdog tattooed on me. That's why I have an underdog podcast. That's why I say the underdog thing all the time, because I like going against the odds. I like going against the odds. I like having the odds. I like overcoming. I like the challenge. I like the mental, not not mental toughness, but the mental struggle that I go to. I like proving myself that I can handle the suffering and the pain, which is kind of what Buddhism talks about. Knowing that suffering is part of life, and that's okay. We still have slavery, we still have racism, we still have prejudice, we still have hate around the world, and that's part of life. It's not okay, but it is okay because we all are going through our journey together and individually all at the same time. You can't always think of you by yourself. You got to think of you and you as a species, as a conscious being. I shouldn't just say a species, just go beyond that. You are the same atoms that's in the cat. You are the same atoms that's in your electronics. Like, there's gold flowing through parts of your body. There's minerals, zinc, copper, there's different substances in your body that you find throughout the different elements in nature. So you're trying to understand or you're trying to make a better life for yourself, but in order to make a better life for yourself, you really need to make a better life for everyone else around you as well. Because if you benefit, we all should benefit. If I benefit, you benefit. I'm all over the fucking place with this message today. Like, I just realized that. I'm all over the fucking place. I apologize, but this is how my brain works. It's going from one thing to the next thing to the next thing. And to me, it all connects. I don't know if I'm doing a good job explaining how it all fucking connects, but to me, it all connects. Because it's interesting enough, I had said most of the stuff in my head and memorized what I was going to try to say to make sure I start off and then keep on track as I was working out this morning at the gym. So happy to be back at the fucking gym, not gonna lie. But I was going over what I was gonna talk about in slavery and stuff, and I was watching a couple of documentaries on YouTube, and then this shit happened. I just went all over the fucking place. And I'm not gonna apologize for it either, cause it's good. The structure of free thinking, true free thinking, meaning I can think about this, and that all at the same time, and you can think they don't connect, but they do connect because everything I'm talking about is just being a conscious being and having an experience, right? I mean, that's all I'm talking about, and I just break it down to different levels, and then I throw myself back on topic like I wanted to talk about, like slavery. What the fuck, man? But yeah, man, I just slavery, like I said, is very interesting to me. It's just I don't. It, it's wild that it still goes on, but I don't have any other expectations other than for it to still be going on. I think what I find wild is the circumstances around it and how those same tactics was applied thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago, and doesn't matter what the color of the skin is, you will find slavery in every society or in every civilization throughout human history. How you define it is different. Like I said, it's more of a trickery now. It's more of a people understand human psychology and people understand how to manipulate. There's a lot of manipulation going on by everyone around you. And people are manipulating other people into slavery, promising, hey, come over here, I got something great for you. You get a kid to what, get into a white van because why? Oh, hey, I got some candy. Eric, come get some candy. I mean, it's fucked up, right? Damn, I actually wonder who the fuck falls for that. Like even as a kid. But it depends on what type of child you have, because if a child is naive and ignorant about the dangers of the world around them, then yeah, you can get away with that. But is that the child's fault? Is that the parent's fault? No. It's the fault of the person doing the crime. It's the fault of the person intentionally using manipulation tactics to gain something from someone else without their true knowledge of knowing that person's intentions. It's their fault. There's some real fucked up people in the world. But that's part of life as well. That's part of the experience. It's part of the social experiment of society. Because these people are serial killers, things of that nature. They're the fringe. They're the small percentage of any civilization, of any society. But they exist, and trying to understand them, helps as well to bring more awareness and help spot out different particular behaviors in others. Because it makes you think about prostitution and a pimp at a say what was that I was watching a documentary earlier on YouTube, and I think it was from Newsy, and it was talking about the Bunny Ranch place in Las Vegas where illegal prostitution is legal. And you have the dude, and he was talking about, of course he's a pimp, but he's a pimp where he's not doing trying to find women on the street and using drugs and psychological manipulation. He sees himself as a businessman, which is a a fine line. It's very thin not to cross, because any employer does some type of manipulation, but not necessarily in a bad way. I mean, your car salesman is manipulative, trying to get you to buy something that you probably don't necessarily need. But from his standpoint, these women are coming to him. Actually, well, these women are coming to him, and it's interesting because prostitution is illegal, yet pornography isn't. What the fuck is the difference? I mean, yes, you can sit and say the details and this, and that, but I mean, sex for money is still what is going on. Sex is happening, but instead of a direct business contract between two individuals, now you have two individuals participating in sex, in a sexual act, but getting paid by a third individual in order to sell the product to another individual or individuals for their observance. What? That shit is fucking wild when you think about it. Sometimes when I watch porn, and yes, I watch porn, everyone watches porn. It's something about, human beings wanting to watch other fucking human beings fuck. I don't know what it is, but it is. It's arousing, it's interesting, it's comical, it's a whole bunch of shit. So, I promise you, this all ties in and makes sense. So, when I watch porn, I don't like to watch professional porn. Like I don't like to watch, people that are like actually like they're doing some videography, like they're really directing and stuff like that. 'Cause I don't like to hear the women make noises, so I watch it with it on silent. And I say that because sometimes the noises really aggravate me because I feel like it's fucking fake, it's exaggerated and stuff, and it can be and it cannot be at certain times. But I mean, it's the whole point of it is selling a visual image, a visual audio image. I mean, so of course they're gonna make noises and stuff, whatever. But at the same time, I always feel a little hesitant because I'm like, man, the person I'm watching, could they be a sex worker, forced into this labor? I don't really know the details because have they been manipulated into this, or did they do this on their own free will, or did they do this consciously, knowing of their own free will? I mean, what benefits are they getting? Or I kind of go way too much deep into porn sometimes as I'm trying to watch shit to masturbate, which kind of defeats the whole purpose. I turn my own self off because I'm thinking about shit too much, which is another issue of mine. But I don't like to watch professional porn, like things that are like really suited up, and I know the whole industry is behind and stuff. I particularly like to watch, well, when they say amateurs or whatever. I like to watch regular people have sex because I because I feel a little bit more secure knowing that these are regular people engaging in sex, and they just have their own form of exhibitionism where they just want to record themselves and share it, and they get off on that, and then that's their thing. And I appreciate you for sharing it with me. What kind of perverted perversion is that shit? But I really like to watch things that are more amateurish, more, hey, are people, or maybe if it's a married couple and they're in their home and stuff and they do their own videos, whatever, and they're more independent. Just only because I feel like, hey, I feel like these are two people of free will, conscious minds, independent minds, and they're making their own choice independently of themselves, without too much or any outside manipulation at all. But that goes back to sex workers and legal prostitution. If you do porn, you're fine. If you do it for yourself, now it's against the law. It's almost like, hey, it's almost like governments and stuff. You're like, hey, what are you doing? You trying to make money on your own without circumventing all the different corporations and institutions? Fuck no, fuck no. You are not allowed to make money on your own. You're not allowed to be a freelancer or an independent contractor. No, you need to sign up with this corporation. You need to sign with this acting with this media company, and now you can be an actress for us or an actor for us, and now we'll pay you. We'll pay you based on how many people and stuff over there, as opposed to you getting directly the money and splitting it with your broker or your pimp. Man, it comes back to the resources, commodities, business, trade. Everything is fucking about trade in society. Everything is about resources and how we utilize resources and how we trade with each other from one civilization to another civilization, from one city to another city, from one country to another country. Fuck, from one state to another state in the United States. It's just one big ass social experiment that we're trying to figure out. Okay, you know what? This might not work. Communism, it might work. It looks like it didn't work. Okay, socialism or fucking fascism. And I don't know if Hitler is considered a fascist or what, or dictatorship. Like, it's all these different rules or ideologies or ways to govern each other. Yeah, you and a democracy is supposed to be something that where we everyone votes on and stuff, but I mean, I think where the fuck is the true democracy at? It's not in America. Where it's not America, America is all fucked up. America is all fucked up. America is a country pretend to be a country, pretend to be another country, pretend to be another country, all within itself. We pretend to be a democracy, but we're not. We pretend to be a republic, but we're not, because we don't. Because the people that represent us are not necessarily picked by the people, and it's almost a plutocracy where people of social elite status are controlling everything, but at the same time, corporations control everything as well. Everybody has all these influences, and what it comes down to is whoever has the most money gets to have the biggest talking, like biggest talking point, gets to have the biggest, standing or whatever, the biggest platform. Celebrities say that they have a platform and they should utilize the platform. Interesting enough, your platform that you utilize doesn't do nothing but increase your own brand. So it's self-benefiting for you to speak and look good in public. So how can I ever take anything that you say as true unless what you say can get you can take away some of your some of your brandings and can take away some of your fan support or something like, of that nature. I seen it that what was it, quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, Baker Mayfield. He was saying he support Black Lives Matter. And he's like, and those, if you don't support me, then he's like, I'm gonna take a knee when the NFL season starts, whatever. And if you don't agree with that, whatever, I'm okay with losing you as a fan. I mean, to be honest with you, it doesn't really matter from his standpoint whether he loses fans or not because he's still gonna get paid. There's still gonna be a contract. There's still gonna be money. People are still gonna watch. People are still gonna watch football. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I don't care if people say, "Oh, they're taking a knee. I'm not gonna watch." Yes, you are. If they're not taking a knee, you're gonna watch, bro, because we don't give a fuck when it comes to sports. We just want to be entertained. And no matter what they say or whatever, you still gonna be like, "Fuck, I don't want." You're just gonna not want to hear it, but you still gonna watch. You're still gonna watch. Hell, you might watch shit with the sound off. It don't fucking matter. It's it's entertainment. It's distractions. But him saying that, he didn't. It was, oh, I don't care. People, other companies say, hey, I think that's Jeff Bezos said that with Amazon. Hey, I don't care if I'm gonna support Black Lives Matter. We lose a few customers. I'm okay with that. Bitch, please, you're not losing no customers. Are you serious? Amazon's fucking everywhere. With the whole virus shutting things down and stuff, people most people don't want to leave their homes, go buy different things. Shit, I fucking stay on Amazon like 10 o'clock at night. I'll be like, oh, you know what? Fuck, I need some clean. I did that shit the other night. I was like, man, we had a fucking mops, wet mops or whatever for the Swifter mop. I was like, fuck. I hopped on Amazon and bought that shit. I was like, I'm thinking I'm finna leave my house. Click, 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 bam. Never mind, I'm good now. The bitch will come in today. Don't say, don't tell me that you're acting like you're doing something, like you're really sacrificing something. You're not sacrificing shit. You're doing something that helps your own branding. But I hope that you do have the understanding and compassion, and I do hope that it is genuine at some point within you. But I mean, that's all you can hope for anybody or anyone or anything. That's all you can do. I say a lot of shit. I hope I try my best to speak from a completely unbiased standpoint, but I always tend to go on a little slight rant about celebrities because I have a frustration, which can also be sometimes considered a bias. Although I don't know how a bias would form for celebrities, since I've met a few celebrities in my lifetime, but nothing more than a picture moment, and that's it. So, but it's not like it's more of an aggravation because sometimes I feel like they're just part of the psychological manipulation, but it's willingly or unwillingly at the same time because I will never know, I can never prove whether a person like Bill Gates truly cares about people or he's trying to do fucked up shit in the world for his own benefit, or it's probably a little bit of both. Maybe you trick yourself into believing that you're doing something great, but really you are just benefiting yourself. But that's kind of how you justify it. Same as slavery, right? Oh shit! I brought that shit full circle. I didn't mean to do that shit. I didn't mean to do that. It just happened. I'm so proud of myself. I didn't even mean to do that shit. I just brought it full circle. Just as slavery. Racism comes up, it's just a way to justify you doing some fucked up shit to somebody for your own benefit or for benefit of others around you, but still trying to ensure that you're a decent person. Bam. Fuck me. I can't believe I did that shit. Man, if you don't get that, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Fuck. You know what, man? Fuck this. I'm done. I ain't want to talk no more. You know what? Until next time, or on that note, or whatever, man. Fuck it. I'm gone.